If Oprah went hand-to-head with you in a discovery call, she'd outsell you. And not because she knows sales, but because she knows people. Oprah has a way of making anyone, CEOs, celebrities, total stranger, reveal their fears, their goals, their motivation, and the exact stuff you need to uncover to sell. And the psychology she uses is the missing skill for most salespeople. And here's what's wild. According to research from the Sales Executive Council, 53% of customer loyalty comes from the sales experience itself. It's not a product, it's not the price, but how you made them feel during the process. Oprah understood this decades before the research proved it. Welcome to this series where we break down the communication habits of the world's most influential people, Oprah, Simon Sinek, Obama, Jobs, and show you how to reverse engineer their psychology to become a more persuasive, trusted, and effective salesperson. If you want to stand out in sales, stop studying scripts and start studying people. Before we break down the technique, here's the context. Oprah Winfrey is one of the most beloved and trusted figures in American history. She grew up in poverty in rural Mississippi, worked her way into broadcasting, and eventually built the Oprah Winfrey Show, which ran for 25 years, reached tens of millions weekly, and transformed her into the Queen of Talk. But here's what most people miss. Oprah interviewed thousands of people during her career, from presidents to serial killers, from abuse survivors to billionaire entrepreneurs. And nearly every single one of them cried, opened up, or revealed something that never said publicly before. She became loved not because she was loud, but because she made people feel seen. And as Oprah herself said, everyone wants to be heard. They just want to know, did what I say mean anything to you? And that's her real superpower, the one we're going to hack today. Before we get tactical, we need to understand why Oprah's approach works at a biological level. When someone feels psychologically safe, their brain releases oxytocin, the trust hormone. This literally lowers their defenses and makes them more willing to share. Research from Harvard Business School shows that when people feel heard and validated, their prefrontal cortex, the logical decision-making part of the brain, becomes more active and collaborative. Translation, they become better buyers. But here's the problem. Most sales conversations trigger the opposite response. When buyers feel pressured, rushed, judged, or like they're being sold to, their amygdala, the fear center, takes over. They shut down. They say, I need to think about it. They ghost you. They avoid you. Oprah's technique bypasses this defensive response entirely, and I'm about to show you exactly how. Oprah built psychological safety first, always. You can watch any interview. She lowers her voice, softens her shoulders, leans in slightly, and looks at you like you're the only person in the room. Her body language says, I'm not here to judge you, I'm here to understand you. Most salespeople, you sound rushed, defensive, scripted, transactional. Your tonality screams, I'm here to get something from you. I need to get my target. Oprah's presence says, you're safe. I'm listening. I care about your story. So here's a framework, the 3 pillars of psychological safety. Pacing, you need to match their energy level and speaking speed. Posture, open body language, no crossed arms, genuine eye contact. And patience. No rushing to pitch. Let silence exist. You can't get truth from a buyer until you make them feel safe giving it to you. Most reps ask, what happened? How big is the problem? What software are you using? What do you need to get this implemented? These are data gathering questions. They're necessary, but they're shallow. Oprah asks, how did that make you feel? That one question moves people from logic to emotion to truth. Why? Because people buy emotionally, and then they justify logically. Neuroscience confirms this. Antonio Damasio's research on patients with damaged emotional centers found that they couldn't make decisions at all, even simple ones. Emotion is not a distraction from decision making, it's the fuel. So, your discovery sucks because you're collecting data, not emotions. And emotion is what creates urgency, justifies budget, and overcomes objection. So, here are 3 Oprah-style questions you can use today. How has it been affecting you personally? What's the hardest part about dealing with this? And when this problem shows up, how does it make you feel? These questions unlock the pain beneath the problem. This is Oprah's real magic. She has this 3-step loop that extracts truth at scale. Step 1 is to reflect. She repeats the emotional core of what you just said. Buyer: we've been trying to fix this for 6 months. Oprah tells rep, 6 months, that sounds exhausting. This makes the buyer feel heard, not just acknowledged, but truly understood. Step 2 is a pause. She waits 3 seconds, 5 seconds, sometimes 10. Most of you talk yourself out of the close before you're terrified of silence. But Oprah uses silence as a pressure release valve, a space where honesty comes out naturally. Research from Harvard shows that conversations with pauses are perceived as more thoughtful and trustworthy. Step 3 is invite more. She gently encourages them to go deeper. So tell me more about that. What made that moment so difficult? When did that start? What else? And this is why buyers reveal the real reason they're buying, the emotional truth beneath the business case. A pro tip I would give you is to write those 3 phrases on a sticky note and put them on your monitor. And so here's where most reps mess up. The moment the buyer shares a problem, you rush to fix it. Oh, we can solve that. Let me show you how. Our platform handles that. That's exactly what we built for. You just broke trust. Why? Because you skipped validation. Oprah validates people without agreeing or offering solutions. I understand why you felt that way, or that must have been overwhelming. No wonder you're frustrated. Validation lowers a buyer's guard. It moves them from defensive to open. And here's a key distinction. Validation is, I see your experience as real and legitimate. Agreement is, I think you're right. You can validate someone's frustration with a current vendor without agreeing that the vendor is terrible. You can validate that a project feels risky without agreeing it is risky. So validation is acknowledging their emotional reality. You cannot influence someone who feels invalidated. You need to understand them deeply. And here's an advanced Oprah move. She mirrors your exact words back to you. If you say struggling, she says struggling. If you say drowning, she says drowning. If you say frustrated, she doesn't upgrade it to angry. Why does this matter? Because people feel most understood when you use their language, not yours. So here's a bad example. Buyer: our team is slammed. The rep: so you're experiencing resource constraints? Good example. Buyer: our team is slammed. The rep: slammed? What's causing that? You see the difference? The second version stays in their world. It does not translate. It does not upgrade. It mirrors. This builds what psychologists call linguistic synchrony. It is when 2 people start speaking the same language, the trust increases dramatically. So in your next discovery call, write down the exact words your buyer uses for their pain. Then use those exact words when you summarize, present, or follow up. So let's discuss some sales applications. Let's start with a budget conversation. Instead of asking, what's your budget? Use Oprah's emotional extraction. I often see that getting budget approved and allocated can be difficult, especially when there are competing priorities. Was that the case here? Then you pause and you let them fill the silence. And then you can follow with, how did that process feel for you? What it does 3 things. It normalizes a struggle, they're not alone. It invites them to share the political reality, which is critical. And it reveals who the real decision makers are and what their concerns might be. Buyers will then reveal fears, constraints, internal politics, things they would never say to a traditional rep. It also allows you to dig deeper into the reason why budget has been allocated, which tells you what they truly value. Another application would be in a discovery call. So instead of, what's your priority this quarter? Try, you mentioned that this is a priority this quarter. How is this impacting your team day to day? Are people stressed, burning out, losing motivation? And then you pause. Then you can ask, what happens if this doesn't get solved in the next 90 days? This reveals the emotional cost of inaction, which is the number 1 driver of urgency. People don't buy because of ROI projections. They buy because the pain of staying the same is greater than the risk of change. And 3, handling objections. So instead of explaining away the objection, validate first. I hear you. It makes total sense at the time and feels risky. A lot of our clients felt the same way initially. You pause, you let that land, and then you reflect their own words back. You mentioned earlier that the team is burning out and morale is low. Tell me more about that. What does that look like day to day? And this shifts the buyer out of no mode back into truth mode. You're not arguing with their objection. You're inviting them to weigh it against the emotional reality they already shared with you. And an advanced move you can do is, after they re-explain the pain, ask, so when you think about waiting another quarter to address this, how does that sit with you? You're not pressuring, you're reflecting, and that's infinitely more powerful. So let's bring it all together. Here's a step-by-step Oprah framework for your next discovery call. Phase 1, create safety. The first 5 minutes. Match their energy and pace. Use body language. Start with a human moment. How's your day going so far? You can set a collaborative tone. My goal today is just to understand your world. I'll ask some questions, and if it feels like there's a fit, we can explore next steps. Sounds good? Phase 2 is extract emotion. Ask, how does that make you feel? At least twice. Use the Oprah loop. Reflect, pause, invite more. Mirror their exact language and validate without fixing. Phase 3 is create urgency through emotions. You summarize the emotional cost. So it sounds like it's not just about a process issue. It's affecting your team morale, your stress level, and your ability to hit your goal. Is that fair? You can ask, what happens if this doesn't get solved? Let them tell you why they need to move forward. You'll notice there is no pitch in this framework, because if you've done the emotional work correctly, the buyer will ask you how you can help. So here's the hardest part of implementing Oprah's method. You have to actually care. You can't fake curiosity. Buyers can smell it. Oprah's secret wasn't just a technique. It's a genuine fascination with people's stories. So the mindset shift you need to do is to stop trying to be clever. Stop trying to get something from the buyer. You need to be curious. Ask yourself before every call, what is this person dealing with that I don't know yet? What is the story behind the problem? How is this affecting them as a human being? When you show up with real curiosity, everything changes. You ask better questions, you listen more deeply, and you build trust faster. And ironically, you close more deals because you stop trying so hard to close. Oprah's superpower is not charisma, it's connection. And connection is a skill you can learn. If you master this skill, every sales call becomes easier. People trust you faster, they open up deeper, they buy because they feel understood and not sold to. So here's your homework. In your next 3 discovery calls, use these 5 phrases. You can write them down. How did that make you feel? Tell me more about that. Then you pause. That must have been, and use the word that he used. What happens if this doesn't get solved? Track what happens. I guarantee your close rate improves. And here's the beautiful part. It's not manipulation. It's empathy. It's caring enough about another human being to understand their world before you try to change it. And that's what Oprah did for 25 years successfully. And that's what the best salespeople do every single day. So please like and subscribe if you find this valuable. And drop a comment and let me know, who should I break down next? Thanks for watching. And now go make someone feel heard.